Okay, first video back into 2021. Happy New Year. I kind of feel like I'm ripping off Jacksepticeye with Nostalgia Week here. We're back with Stikbot again, which it has been, I think, years since I did one. I actually had to dredge these out of a box that I've got stored in a corner of my room somewhere. But yeah, here we are. You guys requested it, specifically Iron Man helmet. So I thought, why not give it another shot? Some of these are absolutely awful compared to the sculpting and paintwork I can do now. Yeah. I mean, it won't even show up on camera properly, which is a bit annoying. But you can see there, the eyes aren't even. They're not even blue. They're like a really weird semi-transparent white, which is the same for the chest here. Anyway, the point of this is the helmets and how they work. All of these helmets here are removable except for the, why can't I remember his name? Master Chief, mainly because if I remove the helmet you would just see a clear orange Stikbot underneath. I needed it to get that visor effect, so it's just a clear orange Stikbot. Probably I think one of my best known ones, apart from the Iron Man Mark 47 from the Homecoming movie I've got here, is probably the Vulture one I did. This is so old. The paintwork and the effort I put into this is awful. I didn't even paint the bottom of the feet or the inside of the jet here, it's still brown. I'm tempted to redo these. The only thing I put effort into was this, and these are laser cut. That didn't even coat the paint to keep it safe. I just drew a monobrow to give the Stikbot some character. Yeah, so basically if I were to redo these I could probably do them a fair bit better than this. Some of these also have glow in the dark bits, so if I turn the UV light, torch on, you see some of these bits glowing? There. Then the hands and feet do as well. The eyes do on here, ever so slightly, which is why they're clear white. The eyes on the Vulture do. Those are some of my favourites, I think, for light up eyes. And now if I turn off the main light, you can definitely see it glowing. This is the Iron Man figure. You can see the helmet down here as well. Just some glowing eyes. I'm pretty sure Black Panther's eyes glow as well. My desk looks really cool with this UV torch on. Very subtle, I don't even know if it's coming across on camera. Like, you can kind of see them glowing there. There you go. So yeah, this is the kind of thing I did about 3 years ago, maybe 2. First thing you're going to need, obviously, to do a custom Stikbot is just a basic Stikbot. It doesn't have to be orange, obviously. It's in case you're doing Master Chief, you'll need an orange one. For which case I'll just turn the head around and use the back of the head. I think you can also use nail polish remover and it'll take the face off if you really want the face to be facing the correct way, but otherwise I'm not too bothered. Now, Stikbots are kind of difficult to work with depending on what clay you use. Don't use polymer clay, that's things like Fimo, basically oven baked clay that's multicoloured. Don't use that unless you're willing to potentially damage the face on the Stikbot, or end up with a sticky metallic coat paint on it. It's not the best to use because you end up ruining the plastic, the paint, and whatever paint you put on top of that clay has to stick. So you need to do a primer, which will ruin the suction cups and it won't stick to anything. So what I tend to use is this air dough. Foam clay would work just as well, I suppose, but it's a bit more expensive for where I live. I tend to use the lids as paint mixing discs, but obviously the colour doesn't really matter because you're going to be painting on it anyway. In regards to tools, I don't have many tools. Instead, I have a telecommunication tool repair kit, which I got for Christmas. I used to use screwdrivers and just needles and anything I had to hand. This is really useful because you can see all the different shapes there. Phillips heads, these weird triangle discs, stars, hexagons towards the top, and some weird other shapes. Rivets, this weird, for some reason there's a bolt that's just the shape of a screw. These picks that are designed for removing the backs or the front of phones, tweezers, an extension, and then just a few easier heads to use. I also have like some very basic sculpting tools with spatula thing, and again just another spike on the end. I used to use these just for holding something up while I painted it, especially this air dough because it's very easy to poke a needle into, and then I could paint it and it would just sort it out. It just keep it somewhere while I can paint it without it leaning somewhere, because I'd normally just wedge it in my drawers or whatever, just hold it up. Now, you need to be careful with how much you use. This is really old clay as well, so I don't know if this is going to work very well for the video. Okay, we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. To begin with, you just want to get like a dome kind of shape. Try and pinch it all around. If you go too far under, it'll be really difficult to take off the helmet, or off the head afterwards. If you're just wanting it to stay on the head, then you don't really need to worry about it. And you can always cut it after, you just might damage the plastic underneath, you might leave score marks in it. So it's just a case of trying to pinch it away from the bottom, but also create a flat edge. Nice bit of dirt under my nails as well, great. Once you've got just a massive blob on top of its head, you can start sculpting or just getting it into shape a bit more. I think I'm going to try and do like a cartoony kind of Iron Man helmet for this one. So I'll get the main shape and then I'll show you the actual engraving ways of doing this thing. Okay, so a good way to get rid of the rounded edges is just use a pair of scissors, cut around the outside, and then sculpt the shape. Not quite an Iron Man head sculpt, but we'll work with what we've got. I'm just going to use a small flathead screwdriver. If it'll focus on it, there we go. And that will get all the detail lines in. I'll try not to do this on camera because I don't think I can do it on camera, but I'll show you the sculpted lines after I've done them. Okay, I might have to readjust my brightness for this actually. Hopefully it stays. No, okay. There we go. Obviously not a very good sculpt. It's a 10-minute sculpt, probably not even that, about 5 minutes. Although now I've sculpted this, I kind of want to work with a different clay and try and do the Mark 7 Iron Man with all its details. If I would spend more time on this, I could probably get a better shape and everything to it. Not great, it does still pop off though. So if you wanted one for a display, I don't know why the camera won't focus. You could do this kind of thing. I've gone with the kind of Mark 5 style to it, with all the lines that run through the faceplate. But the way I do them, you can actually see all the rivet kind of marks in it. See, there's all the dots. I would probably go and smooth those out afterwards with one of these tools, because what you can do is you can just run this along the line, and like that, it smooths out the little divots a bit. There you go. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I could have just done it the entire way around. So this is the kind of thing I used to do. And it is quite satisfying. Obviously I'm not doing a very good pattern here. The Stikbot won't even stay in it at the moment. Another thing to note is this stuff's really oily. You could use Kneadertite, which is the stuff that... Oh, I can't lift it. One of my old gecko's heads is made out of Kneadertite, this one. That's made out of an epoxy clay basically. You mix two parts together, it's mainly used in like Warhammer stuff. You mix the two parts together and it will set hard. So that's what I used for that head and the eyes. So you could use that. You wouldn't be able to take it off the Stikbot unless you did like Vaseline or something underneath. But yeah, in terms of removing, this is probably one of your best bets, or another type of air dry clay. But essentially you can just kind of go around, if I go from here again, try and match up the lines. Like for a quick sculpt, that will do, just to show my explanation. This clay is really old now. This is about 2 years old, so it's not really smoothing over like it should. With better materials I might actually be able to do a fun sculpt. I'll try and do a Mark 7 when I get the chance, but yeah, for the time being this will do as an explanation. If you wanted to do like a little circle for the side of his head, there's this tool here, which is struggling to focus here because of the lack of lighting, I think. There you go. There's always some sort of tool you can use to do patterns on, and you know, that's pretty symmetrical for like 5 minutes worth of work, and you can do the line that's meant to be in it. I'm pretty sure the line actually faces the other way, but anyway, yeah, that's how I used to do my sculpting. If I do make the Mark 7 and I find a different way to sculpt it all, print it all, or however I choose to do it, I will do a video on it. Hopefully I'll actually do a decent metallic paint job rather than just this red and shoddy gold that I used. Try and do a decent paint job if I get around to it, but for the time being this is just a basic little cartoony helmet. Not good at all. I think my older sculpts would be better than this one, but it was just to show the kind of thing you can do with air dough. Explain the process of how I used to sculpt, obviously for rounded areas. You can see that is literally just a Phillips head screwdriver, or a flathead screwdriver, that I've just dragged across the top to get that indent. Most of the stuff I did on any of them was with screwdrivers. Like, I don't even know where that screwdriver bit is that I was just using. But you can see that I actually think this is the tool I used, because you can see the lines. It fits perfectly in the gaps of these lines. This would have been a smaller screwdriver that I've just dabbed in. I think this was this tool as well. So this tool's actually been around for a while. But yeah, I think I might be getting rid of some of these soon. And in case anyone was wondering, these heads do come off. I did explain that they came off earlier, but I never showed that they did. And hair's pretty much a similar thing. It's easy to do. You just do about half as much use for a helmet. For this I just rounded it over, cut 2 lines up, and then pinched the flap that was hanging over the eyes and just lifted it up and folded it backwards to make the weird little quiff. But yeah, that's it for the helmets that I've made and the explanation on how they're made. Things like this is a cotton wool or cotton bud, you call them Q-tips in America, wrapped in a bit of electrical tape. Again, not a very good job. I'd probably just buy bits of Lego at this point, like Lego sticks, and then cut them to size. The electrical tape was just so it would fit onto the little plugs you get with Stikbot action packs. I think I actually did a pretty decent job with the metallic blue on this one. Nice dog hair. Didn't get rid of the dog hair, but whatever. Yeah, there's a nice bit of metallic blue on that. There's also the yellow showing through the silver paintwork. I might have to revisit some sculpting for Stikbot and try and make an Iron Man Mark 7 now. Oh, you've driven me to make a Stikbot Iron Man Mark 7. Damn it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably not Stikbot related for the next one, but it might be, I don't know. But thank you for watching, and if I ever get around to painting this or just binning it, you'll find out in the next video.